Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RVing in New England for August 1st, 2018. And I'm going to bring John up as soon as there he is. So we're going to start the show. There he goes. Hi, John.
Hey, Bob. Good afternoon, everyone.
And we have a special guest tonight. Our guest, courtesy of John, is all of you. We realize that we've been talking a lot the last couple of months with some great shows and great people and the guests, but we also want to make sure that we get to our own comments and your comments and also bring you up to date on a lot of the things that are happening around New England. In New England for August 1st, 2018. You get the feedback on my voice there.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, all right. You want to say a few opening words?
Yeah, I just want to say it's great to be back home. And we were on the road for 2 weeks and just about 4,000 miles. So basically, except for 5 days at the Winnebago factory, we were in a different place every night. And a lot of those places have relationships with many of the people right here on New England RV Dealers Association, including Harvest Hosts and several others. We can get into that a little bit later, but I just want to say it's great to be back. It's kind of different. It's kind of different sleeping in your own bed in your own house. After a while, you're not climbing down a ladder or you're not looking out to try to figure out did anybody park next to you. But I'll tell you one thing: we've been back for 4 days. I'm looking to get rocking again. I think we have such a short season.
That's right.
In New England.
Right. Yep. You put a lot of miles on the motorhome too.
Yeah, we did just about 4,000 miles, and everything works great. We have a Winnebago Navion, a Tasca brand, and we're just so pleased with it. It just hit about 88,000 miles on it, and knock on wood, we've had no major issues with it to deal with. And,
no speeding tickets while you were out there. I noticed you had a couple of comments in Ohio.
No speeding tickets. It's funny how the Illinois drivers are. Put it this way. My opinion is that the Illinois drivers make the New York drivers look like people from a Disney movie. I mean, as soon as we hit that Ohio-Illinois line, it just went crazy on the same road. And you know what? They go from the left lane to the right lane and they swerve back and forth. And I'm sure that all of our viewers tonight will have their own story. And Bob, the special thing about tonight is that we've had so many guests for the last 8 or 10 weeks that we figured, you know what, tonight is a night that let's sit back, let's listen to what our guests have to say. I mean, we could talk for 2 hours just on material that we've got prepared, but we really want to allow the people who make this show possible, give them the opportunity to tell us what they think, because the thing that I've found out about RVing is that many of the best ideas, many of the best places to go to, many of the best restaurants, many of the best tourist attractions come not from the guidebook and online sources, but from people in the next campsite or people that from another aspect of camping. So we're going to have the phone lines are open, as they say in the radio business. The phone lines are open, so feel free, you guys, to.
And we got Rhonda and Joe from the Mask with Sam, and we got Jerry Plant, who's on his lengthy vacation. I think he may have just started, but he's at Arrowhead Marine and RV Park in Schenectady, New York, right on the Mohawk River. So good evening, Jerry, and let us know if, in fact, you are indeed heading west. I think he's heading out to the West Coast.
Yeah, Jerry's got a long trip. And Interestingly, Jerry's not taking Interstate 90 or 80. He's taking Route 2 across. Right, Jerry? I think you said you were taking Route 2 and heading out that way. Walter's here. And there's several other people that are tuning in now. They know that Wednesday night. We want to wish Rhonda well because she's been having a little bit of couple medical issues. But, she talks about it on Facebook. So I'm not spilling any medical beans. I'm not violating any HIPAA rules. But
don't get us in trouble. Right.
Is doing well.
Jerry says he's going US 2 all the way to Seattle.
All the way to Seattle. That is amazing. But one thing that I noticed last week, Bob, when we were on the highways, is that I said to my wife, "Look, the worst way to see America is to stay on an interstate highway. If you've got to get there in a hurry, that's fine. But, we planned this trip to have, 10 days to get 2,000 miles. So it's not a ton of miles per day. So we got off the interstates and we took Route 20 and Route 6, and they both traversed the United States. And obviously there are areas when it went through cities where you wanted to jump back on the interstate. Like in Cleveland, we jumped back on the interstate to get around Cleveland. But I'm sure that all of our viewers would agree. You see so much in the little towns that you would never see from the interstate because they weren't made for sightseeing. They were made for express. And,
well, that's one of the big concerns out west with Route 66. It's just deteriorating, and they're not putting money into the roads. And if you really want to see the iconic value of Route 66, you probably better get there soon, unless somebody starts to put a lot of money into resurrecting that. And it's too bad that they don't, in terms of restoring a lot of those towns and landmarks and monuments along the way. I know a lot of our people, a lot of our fans have done that Route 66 routine.
Yep, and I think it starts right around Chicago. I think we're just to the south of Chicago and then heads out. I know last year we were out in Williams, Arizona, and I think that was the last town that Route 66 went through before it was replaced by the appropriate interstate. And it was like a Wild West town. They had the train to go to the Grand Canyon there from Williams. And when you drove down Main Street, they had a Phillips 66 gas station. I guess that's probably where Phillips 66 got its name, huh?
Probably.
I just thought of that just now. Really brilliant. But, there are towns. I mean, you want to talk about Forest City, Iowa?
You can. I wasn't there. You did the grand tour.
Forest City, Iowa is the headquarters of Winnebago. Okay. There, I think it's 4,000 people. But, a lot of our viewers have Winnebago products, and certainly Winnebago is a product that everybody knows about in the RVing world. But there is no McDonald's. There is no Burger King. There is no Wendy's. There's not even a Hardee's anymore. The Hardee's closed down. I didn't see a pizza shop. The best restaurant is the food carry out section at Bill's Family Foods, the supermarket. And I think I can't believe it, but there's a Mexican restaurant and there's a bar. There's about 12 banks. But, you talk about one industry or one company dominating a town, kind of like Carrier. Syracuse used to be dominated by Carrier, and I know Jerry's in Schenectady, and you've probably, Jerry, gone by a GE plant in Schenectady.
That was big, yeah.
But I'm telling you, it is the tiniest little town. Everybody's so friendly. They're all connected with Winnebago in one way or another. But interestingly, that's right. It is about 4,000 people, because when the Winnebago Grand National Rally comes in, it brings about 2,500 people. So it comes close to doubling the population of the town.
Interesting. Jerry says that Route 6, and I didn't know this, Route 6 goes from Provincetown, Mass to Boston, California.
Yeah. And it was a Jeopardy question. It used to be the longest highway in the United States, but there were sections of it on the West Coast that were changed, where they took it off Route 6 and put it onto an interstate. So it took some miles away from it. So now Route 20 is the longest national highway. That's not an interstate.
Yeah.
So,
as Joe Aranda said, 20 is a great ride, even locally. It's a great ride. So we got Michelle and Laurie there. John, Michelle says, I have to ask, what is the hanging behind your head?
Oh.
Looks like a Christmas candle.
Yeah. Michelle or Laurie, it's called grandchildren. Not a grandchild. It's this thing that was, I don't know. I think it might be a snowflake. But
part of the preparation.
It's the color of the. You can't get good studio prep anymore today. So we'll have to fire the person who's in charge of that, which would be me.
let me throw something up here. Some of you are going to start seeing, actually we did the first video today, but in every month, almost every month during the year, we try to come up with a theme that helps brand our NERVDA association, but also to promote our dealers throughout a particular month. This month in August, starting last year, we branded it Awesome August. And what it is, you're going to see a ton of videos of our dealers. And you may have already seen the first one today with Jeff Wozniak. I was out to visit with Jeff today, and we did the first Awesome August. So John and I are going to hit the road for the next 2 weeks, trying to hit every dealer in New England and have them talk to you about some of their specials or open houses or things that are going on at their dealership. And what we're going to try to do is every Friday, much like we've been doing, where we post the dealer open houses or special events or special sales, those that let us know what they're doing, we post them on Friday so that you'll have some indication of what you might want to do for the weekend. So we're going to try to do Awesome August deals every Friday to highlight within the dealerships a particular product or maybe a few products that they want to highlight for the weekend to get you over to the lot for the weekend, because this really is a good time of the year to buy a new RV. You probably went to the shows in the spring, you looked at them, you thought about it, you went to a few open houses, you thought about it again, you picked out a few models, and then you said, well, let's wait one more year, we'll get one more year out of our current camper. Well, we're halfway through the summer, and now you're probably saying, this thing leaks over here, or this, I've been hearing strange noises.
Bob, time out. Campers don't leak.
Right, RVs don't leak.
That's straight, right up front. They don't leak.
Right.
Okay.
So why is this a good time for you to consider trading in your RV? Well, number one, if the dealer has something on his lot, they want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of it in August, because in September, all of our dealers, majority of dealers in the country, go to Elkhart for 1 week, 3 or 4 days actually, and it's called the Dealer Open House Week.
That was so smooth the way you segued right into Dealer Open House.
Right.
That was so smooth. I mean, that was just, you can tell you've done this show before.
Yeah. As who was it that said it? Somebody said we were doing a pretty good job. I think it was
Cabosa.
You guys have done a great job on the show the past few months. Well, we haven't. It's been all of our guests. That's what we do. But tonight, you're the special guest tonight. But anyways, when they go to Elkhart in September, they go to buy their inventory for January, February, March as they get into next year's consumer shows. So they want to have a comfortable feeling that most of their 2018s have disappeared and they do have 2019s on the lot. So you're going to find out that it's really a great time to buy an RV. And so we want to highlight a lot of the deals that they're going to have during our Awesome August promotions. Two gals and a dog. Michelle says she'll be there. Yes, she will be in Elkhart with the Rolling On TV crew, Jeff Johnson. Rick Kessler will probably do a couple of segments for them. John and I may do a couple of segments while we're out there. Jeff Johnson, who am I leaving out? Jose Moniz, the boss.
Right, yeah. The guy who owns the show.
That owns the show. We just left him out.
You left out Tony last week. You left out Jose today.
Well, that's true.
Let's right now, let's say that both of us made the mistake when we were making up the name of our Winnebago dealers in New England. We left out the name of Crowley RV, our friend Tony. And as soon as the show was over, we got a note from Tony saying, hey, you left me out. But Crowley RV in Bristol, Connecticut, they're a great dealer. Tony is the man to see down there. And they've got a full line of Winnebago products, including the Navion and the View. And
they've been a Winnebago dealer for 40 years. I think 40 years. And speaking about Winnebago dealers, I don't know if she's watching tonight, but we certainly want to send our love and best wishes to Shirley Roberts. If you've followed some of their family activities, Shirley has been in the hospital a few times with some medical issues, and I saw a tremendous picture that her daughter Jackie posted today of Shirley smiling from her hospital bed with Fran holding her hand, and they've been married 66 years. But what's interesting about that marriage and that dealership, when you did Winnebago last week, we mentioned Winnebago was founded in 1958. So everything around the rally was based around their 60th anniversary. Well, next year is Longview RV's 60th anniversary. So you got to go ahead and get well quick, Shirley, because I'm sure that husband of yours has got an awful lot of activity planned next year for the Roberts family and Longview RV. And as I mentioned last week, my experience with them goes way back to right around 59, 60, the early 60s, when they had a dealership with the Longview RV, actually a long view. It was on the side of the mountain on the Mohawk Trail and overlooked several states. And I mentioned that in those early days, Fran, who was a great salesman, just ask him, he'll tell you, sold 55 Brave Winnebago, that was a model name, in 1 month, several months, in fact. So in concert with Winnebago's 60th, we now have Longview RV's 60th and Tony with his 40th. And we just have a bunch of great dealers that have been around for a long time because we have great RV customers in New England.
Yep. And you know what? Family-owned dealerships, I don't care what brand you're selling, they treat you differently. And, you know, one of the things that I saw on the interstate, there's a lot of huge dealerships that have, you know, footage, what do I say, frontage on the interstate. But I just don't think you'd get the same family treatment that you'd get. You know, they're great dealerships all over the place, don't get me wrong. But I think we're blessed, Bob. You know, you do a lot of national work with the RV dealer associations nationally, which I want to get into in just a minute. But I'm sure you'd agree that there is something special about a family owned. And if we start naming them, we're going to get in trouble because we'll forget one. But one thing I do want to say is this: when you were just talking about the Roberts folks, there were several comments that were posted, and I wrote 3 notes of what we can talk about next, because I think the craziest part, the best part, it's not crazy, it's the best part of doing this show is that we get material to talk about just when a viewer posts something. And I see that both Mark and Dawn Polk are here. And one day last week, Friday morning, while we were coming back from Forest City, they were heading out west. And I happened to mention to them online on Facebook saying, hey, are our paths going to cross? And sure enough, they were east of us heading west, and we were west of them heading east. So we met somewhere outside of Cleveland. We had a great time. The restaurant was kind of sketchy, but I'll blame Dawn for that. But we had a great time. And one of the things that RVing allows you to do is to have friends all over the country. And you never know where people are going to be during the summertime. So we ended up, and it was going to be coffee. We were there for, I think, 2.5 hours. The restaurant people were they were like looking at their watch saying, when are you going to vacate this table? So or Mark, if you want to comment on that, go right ahead.
John, you got to understand. John, you got to understand. She went there for the vegetable buffet.
And you know what? I did too, because there was no meat up on that. You want to say what it is? You want to say what restaurant it is?
You were there.
Yeah. It was Golden Corral. Okay, folks, if you're paying $7.99, you should expect $7.99
worth quality food.
But the thing is, some of them were good, but this was the worst one. We were there at 11:30, and there were no hamburgers. So I asked the lady, I said, do you have any sliders? And she said, I have to check to see if the cook came in to grind the meat for us. And then 40 minutes later, there was one there that we were eating like with dessert.
Hey, check out Dawn. Dawn's back.
The food was bad in the RV tonight too, and see. Wait a minute. That's right. I picked the table right next to the meat grill. I did.
Yeah, but go down below, and she's backing off the Golden Corral, saying that she really wanted to go to Panera.
A baloney. Where's she saying that? I don't see that one.
Down below.
Okay, you picked our table. Yeah. Oh, good grief, Dawn. Oh, good grief, Mark. Okay, I think they're home. I think they've made it home.
No. They're going to be on the road for 3 or 4 days. They're almost home. They've been on an extended trip, but they're going to be down
You picked our table to be right next to the meat grill. I did. I did pick the table.
Yeah, they're taking their time and be home. And just quickly on Jerry Raper. Jerry, we know that. And
is it Rapper?
Yeah, Jerry Rapper. Yeah. Jerry says, I'll show you here. Probably never been a truer statement, but I'm going to have John talk about his Ohio thing, but I'm not sure that we're going to get a lot of new campgrounds, but I think there's a lot of ideas germinating out there on inexpensive overnight spots to stay. If you liken it back to when Holiday Inn first got started and the interstate system was built, the highway system, they had one on every corner. And it was a quick, inexpensive overnight stay because people wanted to get to the hotel, have a good night's sleep, get back on the road. Well, there's a ton of RVers out there. And John, you found a couple of spots on your trip. You might want to.
Very interesting. Jerry, thank you for bringing that up. You brought it up a few minutes ago, and I wrote it down about campgrounds. Campgrounds are absolutely fantastic for staying for 2 days or 3 days and taking advantage of all of the amenities that campgrounds have, such as pools, such as barbecue pits, such as entertainment, such as things for, a schedule of activities for kids to do. That's great. But when you're on the road going from point A to point B, the average RVer doesn't necessarily need all those amenities. So 2 things that we took advantage of during this trip. 2 weeks ago on Wednesday night, our guest was Joel Holland from Harvest Hosts, which taught us about the program, which we had heard about before, but I decided to become a member and utilize it. And the first night on the trip, we stayed at a winery in Geneva, New York, that was just phenomenal. They had live entertainment, live singers during the afternoon. And unlike in Napa, California, they don't charge you for the wine tastings. They give you the wine tastings in hope that you buy a bottle of wine. So we stayed there. And after the winery closed at 6 o'clock, we had the whole parking lot to ourselves and one other 45-foot motorhome, which was basically twice the size of ours. And it was quiet as can be. We were overlooking one of the Finger Lakes in New York State. And we did the same thing the next night in Ohio, Connaught, Ohio, the first town just over the border from Erie, Pennsylvania. And that was Monday night. And the winery was not open, but the host was so gracious that he gave us a special wine tasting. And it was a hot night. And he said, look, there's nothing else going on. Feel free to plug your RV into our electrical system. So we were able to take advantage of the power and use the air conditioning. The other thing, and you can see it right here, is I read somewhere that the Ohio Turnpike, in fact, I didn't read it. Bob and I were coming back from Elkhart one year in a car, and we saw these, what appeared to be RV hookups at the certain rest areas on the Ohio Turnpike. So I did some research, found one that was in our direction. There's 4 in each direction, 4 going east and 4 going west. And basically we paid $20 and we had a dump station, clean water, and 30 or 50 amp setups. So we were able to, charge all of our portable devices. I don't even think we needed the air conditioning that night, and surprisingly, even though we were on an interstate highway, it was quiet. So I don't know if any of you folks had the opportunity to take advantage of those rest areas. And I will say this, the Ohio rest areas are spotless. And, the outside, the inside are immaculate. And one of the places we stayed had 4 restaurants. And on the way back, the next one we stayed at had 6 restaurants, including a full-service Panera. You hear that, Don Polk? A full-service Panera right in the rest area. So we didn't have to settle for greasy hamburgers.
How did she miss it?
I don't know.
No.
But actually, she was going by it a little bit later because she was going where we came from.
Okay. All right. So anyways, there's, like I said, there's a germination of seeds out there, and Chuck Woodbury's been after it for a long time. Somebody's going to get smart and build these facilities, much like what they have on the Ohio State Turnpike. Maybe some of the other states will do it, but again, you really want to get off the highway a little bit. But there's a market for it because I'm sure it's expensive to acquire land, especially in a heavily populated area or an industrial area. The land costs become quite high for you to build out the infrastructure of a campground. But we hope to see more activity on that. So, Jerry, in response to your question there, we ought to give a little plug here to, I don't know if this will show or if it'll take us all off the screen. Yeah, maybe it does. It takes us off a little bit, but
yeah, that's good. I'll be at that event.
Yeah. Go ahead and read that, John. Let them know what you're doing.
Okay. So every year, I think this is the 5th year or 6th year that the Coles and the Cavosas got together and said, let's get together at the end of this camping season, just like they do at the start of the camping season. The Mass people kind of open and close it between Memorial Day and in the middle of September at Normandy Farms. And if you've never been to Normandy Farms, you are absolutely in for a treat, because it is not really a campground. It's like a lodge in the Sound of Music.
Well, you're right. Yeah.
It's just absolutely beautiful when you drive in and you see that beautiful check-in area, with the high ceilings and the fireplace, depending upon what time of year it is. And then they've got the indoor pool, the outdoor pool. The grounds are immaculate. So for $130, I'll tell you this, folks, if you went there on your own, it would cost you over $100 a night just for a hookup. And so this is a phenomenal deal for $100 for a family of 4. I think you get Friday and Saturday night. Joe and Rhonda, tell me if that's correct. Friday and Saturday night, and it's going to be a great. It's going to be a great event. And usually there's a couple vendors there, so if you're looking for a new RV, you can look at them right then and there. Yeah,
we have a lot of NERVDA dealers that come up and display their products at the event because they know you're active RVers. And again, it's the end of the season, and maybe it's a good time to look at something new there. I just noticed, John, that weekend is probably, I think we leave for Elkhart that Sunday. Maybe Saturday. Yeah, that's the weekend between Elkhart and
Hershey and Elkhart.
Yeah. Gary Plant, I'm not sure what you meant. Segue is radio talk.
Oh, segue. I said, Bob, you segued into segued into the Elkhart.
John, that's from John's radio business, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not just a pretty face here on the internet. I'm also a professional radio and TV person in real life as well.
You look even better on the radio.
You're right. People have said that many times.
Yeah. We got Maria Galante Moore out there in Central Mass. So,
yeah, we have so many comments. Yeah, who is Mary? Maria. Have we talked to you before, Maria? Tell us where you're from.
Central Mass might be
Central Mass, but whereabouts, Maria?
The Worcester area, perhaps.
First time? Is it your first time viewing us?
I don't know. Well,
Walter's smiling. Jerry's heading to Seattle via Route 2.
Let me throw something else up here that we want to.
Coming up this weekend.
This weekend, we talked about the longevity of many of the companies and many of the dealers. Same thing holds true for the Silva family up in Weir, New Hampshire, and Scott Silva at Cold Springs RV, and they are having a super duper 40th birthday bash at the dealership with cake and prizes and special prices. So we'll be posting more about that later on towards the end of the week, but congratulations to them on their 40th anniversary up there. And down the road, I'm not sure how they're going to showcase. I'm not sure if it's ready, but I know down the road they built this incredible standalone service center with, I know the professional painting, we posted something on that the other day. The professional painting company are called RP Pro, Pro Painting, is open. So for all of your body repairs and paint work, but they're going to have a dedicated service center where they're going to service everything from a pop-up trailer to a diesel pusher. And it's dedicated, so they may be giving tours, I don't know. But that's something that you want to look at this weekend if you're going to head up north. And the other thing that we posted today, off there, but let me do this, is our first, wasn't an official Awesome August video, but it's a video that was prepared by Lee's Family Trailer Sales because they started their big fifth wheel sale and camper sale today, so we posted their video. We'll also be visiting them this weekend and posting the awesome August thing, but that's up in Windham, no, not Windham, New Hampshire, Windham, Maine.
In the Maine.
Windham, Maine, about 20 miles northwest of Portland, Maine. So they've, Dan Crappy bought it last April, done a tremendous job with the dealership. So that's going to be another thing that you might want to put on your schedule for this weekend, and head up there and check out that and look at the rebates that they've got. Also want to mention, again, we talk about the longevity of our dealers, but Arlington RV is in their 70th anniversary. So John's going to be doing the videos probably south of the Mass Pike, and I'm going to hit the North Country for my videos in the next few weeks. But certainly he'll be talking to Jay and Linda and Mark Donlan down there about their 70th anniversary. They've been a Winnebago dealer for a long time, and a lot of host of other products down there. So that's another one that is on the radar screen for good activity. We also have the Bosses Away sale at Vermont Country Campers and New Hampshire Country Campers. So I'll be getting up to do.
Are they back from Italy yet?
Well, huh?
Is Lane back from Italy yet?
We're not supposed to say that, but he came back last week. But
okay,
they still get the Bosses.
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, we do so well. They're going to.
So,
well, you know what? It's funny. Talk about the power of this show. When we were doing the show, was it 2 weeks ago? Today, with Logan, their parents were in Italy, and it was what, 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, in Italy.
And his mom was online with us, talking, saying, "I see you, I watch you," just like you did a couple of weeks before that. But there's 2 things here. There's 2 things I want to say that just came up in the last minute. I didn't know when I was on camera or not, but I have a bowl of pasta here.
Yeah, well, we caught you. I wasn't going to say anything. I was trying to be nice. I wasn't going to say anything.
But I have the monitor here, so. But here's what it is. It's Penn Dutch noodles that I got in Elkhart. So I'm going to tell Jerry that you have to make a point to stop in Shipshewana. Shipshewana, Indiana, is about 15 miles before you get to Elkhart. And there's a restaurant there called the Blue Door Restaurant. Blue Gate Restaurant. And they have the best buffet you can ever have. And just down the street, I'll try to remember it before we get off here. I'll have to yell to my wife upstairs. There is a store just down the street called Bulk Foods. And we went in there, and all the Amish people are there with their horse and buggy, and they're Amish inside, and they make these noodles. Can you see those noodles? How do I get that? They make those noodles.
Yeah, we see it.
Unless you put Italian pasta sauce, which I made this afternoon, on them, they're just not quite as good. But Jerry, get yourself some of these noodles. Take it back. You can't get these things in New England. And I'm sure that everybody who's watching us tonight has their own special food issue. Not issue, I shouldn't say that. Their special food that they've got when they're on the road that's not available in the area. And the beauty of the RV is that if it needs refrigeration, no big deal. You've got your refrigerator. If you're traveling in a car, you don't have that thing. And even on the way back, we stopped at a restaurant in Albany because we knew we didn't want to make supper when we got back. I just finished that steak a couple nights ago. So they said, "You want to take it?" Heck yeah, we got that refrigerator out there. So Jerry, make sure you check it out. Blue Gate Restaurant, Shipshewana, Indiana.
Yep. You're gonna check it out. There's a great bakery out there too. I forget the name of it. I told you to.
Oh yeah. Rise and
Roll. Rise and Roll
yeah,
Bakery.
We went right by that, but we had already eaten in the blue.
Unbelievable.
Oh, is it the Blue Gate or the Blue Door? No. That's another studio.
Yeah.
But, Rhonda also mentioned that event in September. What am I calling? Also includes breakfast and 2 nights of entertainment, and they bring in some pretty good entertainment. They had Timmy Brown a couple years ago come to one of their events, and he just Channel 5 did their thing on American Idol. They call it Boston Idol, and they won that. And he's very close to being signed to a major record label. Blue Gate. There we go. Thank you, Walter. Blue Gate. Blue Gate.
Tim Brown's country music, right? Tim is country music.
Yeah, country music. Yeah.
Right on time.
So anyway, Jerry's talking about another Boudin Balls in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. Jerry, tell us what that is there. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
Might need some explanation there, Jerry.
No. Okay. So
Michelle's supposed to take care of us on the awesome August videos. Michelle's behind the scenes when you see them go from our Facebook page to our YouTube channel.
And Jerry, here's another one. RVers, if you're going through the middle of the country.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to go to a unique restaurant.
Yeah.
You go to Lambert's. And I've been there twice. I think the food is so good. It's all fried stuff anyway. I mean, out in the Midwest, forget saute. They don't know what saute is.
Well, but the fried stuff is okay as long as it's fried vegetables.
Right, yeah. Breaded fried vegetables.
Breaded, right.
With some beef gravy. Go on. But it's called the home of the throwed rolls, not thrown rolls, but throwed, THROWED. And here's what they do. It's a huge restaurant, probably the size of what's around here that would be similar, like double the size of a Cracker Barrel, And, people go in there with groups of 20 and they get these big long tables. And there's a guy that walks around carrying a basket of rolls. And if you want a roll, and they make them right there, they're hot. If you want a roll, you just raise your arm and they throw the roll across the restaurant and you catch it. Usually. If not, they use them for croutons later on. But if you really want to have some fun, just when we're done this segment tonight, go on to Google and just put Lambert's Restaurant. So if you're ever going to Branson, Missouri, Lambert's is right nearby there. It's worth going to Lambert's. It's not worth going to Branson, but it's worth going to Lambert's.
Okay. Nice on 5. I think one thing we forgot the last week, but if you would hit the share button after the show or during the show, hit the share button and share it with your friends, because we still average between 3,000 and 6,000 views within a week after the show airs, which is phenomenal. And we're getting
I'm on the suspended list. Let's be clear. I'm a felon. I'm a convicted felon on Facebook. I was sharing it to too many groups, so I'm banned from sharing till August 5th or 6th. I can't share the show. So we were sharing it to a number of other RV groups, but Facebook Michelle, you might know something about this, but Facebook keeps changing your capability to share your programming. So after we would do this, I would go right on my phone right here, and I'd press replay, and then down below it said share, not Sonny and share, but share. And, I'd post it to like 10 or 15 other groups all across the country. And we get comments on all the different groups, and, everybody loves the show, and, we thank them for it, et cetera. But then I got a note saying, you're forbidden for sharing to groups that you're not an administrator from. So I'm on Facebook probation right now.
All right. So if I understand you right, the two big headlines out of Facebook this week were they caught the Russians doing nasty things, and they caught DePietro sharing RVing in New England.
And not necessarily in that order.
Well, that's true. So we have to watch
that order.
We'll have to check that out and see what's going on with that. Anything else? I got another note here. We didn't post anything on Reed Lamper this week. Reed is the NASCAR driver who also happens to do double duty as the general manager for Scott's Recreation in Turner, Maine. He finished 3rd this week, so it broke his winning streak, but he finished 3rd at Oxford Raceway, and he's stepping up the class in some of the events that he's working in. So I hope to get over to see him either at Oxford or Beach Ridge, but he's continuing his NASCAR exploits, and he's doing extremely well, and also runs the Turner, Maine store and everything else. And he's only 20 years. I think he's 20 years old. He was 19 last year, so there's a good chance that he's 20 this year.
And for all the people down south that think that we don't know nothing about racing, we know our NASCAR up here in New England.
That's right.
Because in fact, when they have the race in New Hampshire, which they did a couple weeks ago, it's the largest single sporting event in New England because it holds 90,000 people. And Fenway Park holds 33,000 and Foxborough holds 67,000. So when you add those two big facilities up, they still don't reach the number of people that they do at, wow, that's funny looking water there. Funny colored water.
It's not water, John.
It's Kentucky water?
Tennessee, John.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay.
Wait.
Don't
call it bourbon, and don't call it bourbon either.
Okay. So we need to tell people that let's do this, and this is totally unscripted.
Just like the last 40 minutes.
Right. Let's talk about the new book that you got in the mail today. We're going to be giving to our dealers. Talk about that new book.
We are taking it around to our dealers. We have Mark and Don's 6th edition of the RV book. That's the title of it, and hopefully all of our dealers will stock it.
Pretty creative title, isn't it?
101 is an associate member. A lot of our dealers have picked up the book and have it on the shelves, but it's the know it and end all for everything you're going to have to know about RVs. And Mark has done an incredible job. He's probably one of the best educators in the country. And you can see all of his stuff online, streaming videos and training things. But we are taking that book around as we go around to do our awesome August videos so that hopefully the dealers will be stocking that for you come the fall.
And it really should be pointed out that he can sure tell you everything about RVing, but he can't pick a restaurant at all.
Well, I thought that was his wife.
Well, I don't know.
Now you're blaming him.
You know what? They're doing like this to each other. They're pointing fingers.
Then you're giving
fingers at each other.
Then you're giving her an easy out because she said she wanted to go to Paneras. Now you're telling me Mark wanted to go to Golden Corral.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think they should fight that out. And you know what they'll probably do? They'll blame their dogs. They had 3 attack dogs with them. We couldn't even go near the motorhome.
She'll come attack you.
We couldn't even go near the motorhome because they said the dogs will rock it so much that it will, because they smelled beef on me.
All right, Mark came to his own defense. He was gone. See, you can't get away with that, you know.
Mark did what every true-blooded American husband did. And you know what that is?
Hid behind his wife. Yeah. Well, we just now you may have let them get away with that for your trip, but when we go to Elkhart and go to dinner with them, we're not going to any of these vegetarian places or we're getting manly meat stuff when we go to Elkhart.
Yeah. Well, they do have a steak and shake. Yeah,
that's not exactly manly meat. May not be meat.
It might not be meat. It might be imitation. It
right.
Might be meat. Dawn said, John, I did say Golden Corral. I will admit to it.
So 45 minutes later, the truth comes out.
I don't know if I brought it up. See, we told them, if you get there before us, you pick the place. If we get there before you, we'll pick the place. So they got there before us because we had a lot of traffic. By the way, folks, if you're traveling this summer on Interstate 80, anywhere from New Jersey to California, it's under construction. So there was a lot of construction going on. And
Don has at least one friend on here.
Yeah, that's Michelle.
That's Michelle.
Yeah, those vegetarians stick together.
Well, the two of them can go off in Elkhart and find a vegetarian restaurant, and us guys will go off someplace else.
Well, they might have to walk all the way to Michigan because I don't think there is any in Elkhart.
That's true. That is probably true.
We've been rambling for basically 43 minutes, and we didn't know whether we'd have enough material. But the thing I said to you today when we were talking is the best part about this show is the interaction with our audience.
That's right.
They're the ones that make it happen. What do we got? 65 comments already.
Yeah. And, so with that in mind, and I thank you all for joining in. We'll close up here soon, but we'd like to get your opinion because this was John's idea because we had some difficulty trying to line up a few guests, and he said, we haven't talked to our audience by ourselves for a while. We'll just go this way ourselves. We're thinking about doing this once a month. Now, let's have 3 weeks where we bring a guest in, but maybe the first week of every month have just John and I, and we'll be talking about the things to look for that month, the shows, the open houses, the activities, talking about some of the events like the anniversaries for these people. So if you would like to see us do one show a month, and perhaps I think we do it the first week like we did tonight, let us know on that and spread the word and see what we'd like to have your input on that.
And you can tell us now, folks. Just write it in right now, or say vote right now. But we also want to ask people to kindly, you know what, we can only share X number of people. And you know, the thing I said before, I'm on Facebook probation, not official probation. I'm putting myself on it. Just share it. You know what? Because right down, if you're looking at it on your phone, down below, there's a share button. But if you're looking at it on your screen, on your computer, there's a share button as well. Just share it with people you know that are RVing, or if you belong to any RV groups, you know, that somehow have 5, 10, or 15,000 members on it. I know that I've learned so much from watching videos like this on other people's groups, and maybe we have the capability to, or the opportunity to share some of this knowledge about that.
And
especially about that.
Laura's going out with the guys because she loves her rare steak. So we got a Splitsville when we get to Elkhart. I think we covered everything. Well, there's two things we didn't cover. This year we talked about anniversaries. You'll see a lot of stuff, and we're gonna post some of it. Is Jayco's 50th anniversary. So there's again the Bontrager family, which sold to Thor Company a couple of years ago, but Jayco is marking their 50th anniversary, so you'll see some special contests coming from them and their dealers. And on the national level, I'm working with several committees.
Oh, yeah, talk about that.
On RV technician training and a new initiative from the RV industry called the RV Technical Institute. They're going to build an entire new building, new staff, new people. Bring in professional educators, and we're going to start training technicians to be certified out in Elkhart in a full-fledged, 100% dedicated facility on that. And that's going to be exciting to get that underway, and they'll be working with all of the suppliers. And there's also an event that you cannot go to, but I want to tell you about. The event is called RVX, the X being for RV Experience. And it's going to replace the industry's Louisville show, which again was not open to the public, nor will RVX. RVX will be an industry event to showcase the newest products and technologies, both from a standpoint of rolling stock, the motorhomes and trailers, but also the technology that's inside these. And the big component why you should be of interest to it is that a lot of the things that go on during the show, which is going to be in March in Salt Lake City, is going to be pushed out to the consumers. Again, it's not open to the public, but there's going to be an awful lot of media coverage, Facebook Live, a lot of things, and you know, we'll try to do some stuff from there also. But pushing a lot of this new technology, new products out to the consumers. So kind of like it's at the beginning of the camping season, you know, for us, so you'll get a lot of excitement about going camping. It's going to be tied into the Go RVing campaign with a lot more exposure to the Go RVing campaign, and it's all designed to drive people to the dealerships. So have all of this hype, have it on national TV, get the media coverage, all with the intent to get people to go to visit their dealer and buy a new trailer or a new motorhome. And it's going to be an exciting event, and they're formulating the finished product right now, but we'll bring you more information on that as we get down the road for that.
Bob, while you were talking about that, there were a couple comments that were made. I want to just update them. Michelle says, check out the brand new show on the Jayco 50th anniversary on Rollin' on TV, which you can get rollingontv.com or watch on regular TV. That's one. Number two,
I posted that today. That's on Facebook.
Okay.
Yep.
Number two, there is absolutely no corroborating evidence that I am connected with the Russians in any way on the Facebook issue. And third, one of the things that I think would be really cool when we do this format again, especially for Jerry, folks, I wanted to do it, but we kept getting other comments. I wanted the Cavosas to talk about their trip up to Atlanta, Canada, not just getting to Canada, not just being in Canada, but the trip itself, because I know they talked about it a lot on Facebook. But let's do this, folks. If you've got a trip between now and the 1st of September, tell us about it on that show. People want to know where other people went. If you found a great restaurant along the way, if you found a great a tourist attraction along the way, if you found a great winery, if you found a great attraction that you could take kids or grandkids or senior citizens, this would be your forum to talk about that, because again, we want to hear from you. So Jerry, we're expecting a
I'm sure that Michelle and Don would like to know if you find a good vegetarian restaurant somewhere along your trip.
Yeah, I don't think there is a good vegetarian restaurant.
Oh.
So it's called the produce department at a supermarket. I mean, why back away from cows that have been eating, chemicals and additives and all that other stuff, and chickens that are
Monsanto chemicals.
Well, exactly. I mean, you get those chemicals, so I mean, they have nice tastes rather than bland, blanched carrots or something like that. We might be starting a food war here, so maybe we should just not. Yeah, see, I already got to stop it, John, and I'm sure Dawn will be next.
All right. So I know. I forgot one thing. Excuse me. Another event this weekend. You may have heard Airstream has a new product. It's a fiberglass trailer. It's called the Nest. And I checked with Chad Shepard today. It is sitting in the showroom at Pete's RV in Burlington, Vermont. First New England showing, and it is sitting up there. It's all fiberglass. It's getting a lot of attention. So if you're up in the Vermont area, you want to see something different from Airstream. It's not silver. It's not aluminum, but it's from Airstream, so it's quality built, and you might want to check that out at Pete's RV. So I did almost miss that one. And
let me ask you a question, Mr. Zagami.
Yes.
Why would a company whose look is so iconic and famous with that silver, why would they deviate from that? Did they hire some marketing expert that says you need to broaden your marketing, your customer appeal?
I think a lot of it is product.
I really shouldn't comment, but I do.
A lot of it is product expansion and diversification, given the new, the changing demographics of the RV industry over the last 5 years has been phenomenal. And with everybody from a millennial to the seniors who are driving 40-foot motorhomes, dropping down to smaller motorhomes like Class Bs, people looking for something different. An Airstream is an iconic brand that traditionally had a much older average age of their buyer, but they've dropped that down because they got the Base Camp and the Bambis. So it's just an expansion. There are going to be some people that don't want a silver Airstream, and they want to, put more product out under the Airstream name. And this was a private company they picked up a couple of years ago.
Okay. You brought up something that I have to talk about. I wasn't gonna, but I will. You brought about a new changing demographic. Well, we were parked, again, there were 950 motorhomes, well, trailers and motorhomes, because Winnebago now has travel trailers, at this event last week in Elkhart, in Forest City, Iowa, the home of Winnebago. 2 rows, and it's a giant campground. It looks like a fairgrounds. Were devoted exclusive. There probably had to have been 100 Travados. Okay, the average age of those Travado people, the Class B people, had to be at least a half, if not 1/3, the age of some of the people in the big Class A diesel pushers. Okay, they were 2 rows away from us. They party till the wee hours in the morning, and they are totally different than the vast majority of the people that were there. They want to use that motorhome to get to somewhere, to get out of it and climb a mountain, climb a rock, go swim in a beach, as opposed to most people traditionally have been in the motorhomes or the travel trailers, where that was the means to the end. That was the end. And with the Travado, which is a small, standard-sized Dodge van, some of them they've made the height a little bit higher. That's the new RVer.
Yep. And they had the kayaks attached in their bicycles and everything else.
Yep.
All right, we are gonna
kayaks.
we're going to wrap it up and thank you. 79 comments tonight. So thank you very much.
Well, Bob, time out for a second. That's not really a record because most of the comments were between Dawn and Michelle about, patting each other on the back about eating vegetables.
Well, we're not going to delete them. We're going to, in fairness to all of our viewers and all of our fans, we will leave them up there.
Watch, and our carnivorous fans too.
Right. So watch during the month. Watch every day because we're going to be posting the awesome August videos from all of our dealers. And on Fridays, hopefully you'll see a bunch of awesome August deals that'll drive you into some of the dealerships and maybe buy a new RV. So for August 1st, that is it. We probably could go another hour, but thank you for sticking with us for an hour. And we will see you next Wednesday night. I'll give you the final word, John.
Have a great day, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much for being part of the show to everybody, with all the number of comments that we have. And again, ask for your indulgence in sharing. If each person shared it to like 3 other groups, that would make those numbers go great.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.